Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I don't have a straight up gardening tutorial to share. I actually want to get personal because this year I've had to start over in my garden and in my life. And the more I think about it, the two things are teaching me the same lesson at the exact same time. Lessons about patience, lessons about how to suffer well during life transitions, lessons about how to see progress when progress feels invisible. 2025 has been one of the hardest years of my life personally, hands down. And honestly, I feel like it's been a little bit heavy for all of us. I shouldn't be able to put this number of crazy headlines on the screen and we actually be able to look at them and say, yeah, all of that really happened this year. In parallel, my life personally has been running its own little brand of crazy right now. In February, I lost my job, got laid off, came to terms with my sexuality, went through a breakup, realized after some deep research that I'm probably autistic, which has shed light on a lot of reasons why life has just felt so heavy in the past 10 years and why I have been struggling to fit into spaces that don't really match me back. Gardening, oddly enough, has been sort of a mirror for what I'm going through and what I'm experiencing. It's kind of reflecting everything back to me in a way that I can process, hold on to, and sort of move through with a bit more confidence than I feel like I have this entire year. So one of the ways that my gardening is mirroring this back to me and letting me know that it's okay to be in this season, even though this season has been very long, is watching my seedlings grow indoors and understanding everything that they're gonna have to go through in their own period of transition. Right now, I'm in a state of transplant shock. Like, you know how you start seeds indoors and then eventually you want to move them outside into the garden? And when you initially do that, your plants experience a transplant shock. They're in a new environment, they're having to adjust with new conditions, and it's shocking to the system. This transition period for me is the exact same, where I am forced to confront my identity, confront my career instability, confront what it means to build something of my own that nobody can take away from me. I am being pulled out of old soil and put in new soil, and literally everything, my body, my mind, my spirit, is in a state of transplant shock. It is extremely uncomfortable. And then it's not even just being in that uncomfortable period by itself. You get the wild weather swings and the wild circumstances that happen while you're in the transition. So just like our seedlings get that crazy rainstorm, get that crazy wind that blows through, just whatever our seedlings have to go through, the lesson that I'm taking from it is that nothing stays the same. Change is always happening, but as long as we can kind of be steady and hold on through the transition, eventually we will adjust to that new soil. We will learn how to acclimate to our environment, and eventually we will thrive and we will grow bigger and stronger. And so seeing that happen in my first gardening season, seeing that happen as I'm planting my seedlings and trying to keep them alive, it's kind of steadying me in a way that nothing else has. This is where patience comes in. This is where learning how to suffer well during a hard transition, a dark transition, and being able to see your progress for what it is and not kind of overlook it just because it's not exactly what you want to see at the finish line. That's where all of this comes in handy. And pretty much this is where all of these things are forged. It's just extremely uncomfortable and painful. But my garden is helping me get through that by kind of forcing me to slow down and tend to something else that's going through its own period of challenges. So it's kind of like I mean, if Mother Nature does it every day, why can't I? So when it comes to starting over in particular, the biggest thing I'm learning is that you don't need to overhaul your life all at once. It actually makes a lot more sense to start small and just make really subtle shifts that allow you to win every day as a battle, but not try and win the war all in one day, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, because that is just going to make us feel miserable. And when I say all this, I'm talking to you, but I'm really talking to me. This is something that I'm like actively kind of struggling with day by day, but through taking care of plants in my garden, learning how to slow down and accept. And I think the easiest way to think about this is thinking of what we do for our plants when they're going through a hard transition. Like if our plants are doing bad in the garden, we don't just yank them up and take them out of their soil and then put them inside, right? Like that would be crazy. That'll actually cause more harm than actually fixing the problem. We look at it and we say, okay, what's wrong with it? If it's wilting a little bit, maybe it's getting a little too much sunlight, so maybe we give it a shade cloth. If the soil is a bit too dry, maybe we throw some mulch on top of the soil. If the leaves are looking a little bit pale, maybe it's time to fertilize, you know? So we do small things to get our plants back on track, right? And I feel like when we're going through dark periods of transition and things just aren't going our way and life feels heavy, we can't rush it. We have to do small things that just kind of keep us in the game of trying and maintaining until we can actually see our progress reflected back to us in a way that feels satisfying and feels like we're seen and not like we're just invisible going through this hard time. So that looks like, hey, have you eaten today? That looks like, have we moved? Have we gone on a walk? Have we drank some water? Have we prayed? Have we journaled? Have we just started with the basic things by acknowledging our human existence the same way that we look at our plants and notice that they're going through a time and acknowledge their existence and say, hey, what do you need? Instead of rushing to view ourselves as machines that should be where we are, did we just honor where we are and give ourselves what we need in this moment? What I'm actually wanting to happen in my life is the same thing that I want to happen in my garden. I want the work of the past 10 years, I want the work of the past 10 months to actually show some type of result. I want to see a harvest. And being in a transitional period right now, that's just not possible because I'm in the messy middle. And I feel like that is such a metaphor for life and a metaphor for what we go through in our gardens when we want to see those seedlings come up, we want to see that fruit, we want to see those flowers, whatever it is that we're looking for, we want to see it before it actually happens. And we don't want it to take 100 days. We want it to feel a little bit better during the process. But gardening reminds me that when you plant a seed, things aren't actually stagnant just because you can't see anything happening. Roots are developing. You just can't see it. It's all happening underground. As I work in the garden and I work on getting through this period in my own life, the biggest question is, will any of this bear fruit? And I think the answer is yes. I think it will bear fruit. I just think I have to be a bit more patient, and that's all it is. Even with growing this channel, there are moments where I'm like, I'll be actively filming a video and I'll be like, I don't even know if the algorithm is gonna push this out, you know? But if I don't keep going, I'll literally never actually know. So if you're starting over just like me, whether it's in gardening or it's in your life, just know that you are not stuck. You are not invisible. Things are happening in the background. The roots are growing beneath the soil line, but you just can't see it yet. And it's not being reflected back to you because you're still going through the messy middle. And that's okay. One day, when the harvest actually does come, you'll realize that none of this was for nothing, and your path was just your path, which is also okay. If this is your first time here, my name is Lydia, and I run this channel called The Homegrown Way. And if you want to know a little bit more about gardening through my process and my mistakes, because I'm real about all my mistakes, give this video a like, definitely hit subscribe, and join the journey, because I'm going to be doing some things that I know will be reflected back to me and then be reflected back to you in terms of lessons that you can take from your own garden, in your own life, and apply those, and just keep going, y'all. Until next time, happy gardening.